Now that Modern Warfare 2 has been out just over 3 weeks and the first big update dropped with Season 1, I thought this would be the perfect time to create a video like this, where I cover everything there is to know about sniping down to the movement, positioning, awareness, things that you may be doing wrong and not even know it, and we'll even show off the best sniping class setups and settings too. This will help whether you're just sniping for those camo challenges on the hunt for a riot, or you're looking to primary a sniper rifle and want to be more comfortable with one in your hands. As always though, my friends, I spend a lot of time and effort putting these videos together to make sure I cover everything, so if you could all drop a thumbs up on the video and share this to anyone in need, I would really appreciate it. And leave a comment too. If this helps in any way, I'd love to hear from you. Before I get into the best tips and tricks with a sniper, I do want to get one thing out of the way. Modern Warfare 2's attachment system is a little different than before. Some of the best attachments are only available if you rank up other guns in different weapon categories. For example, the best laser attachment for sniping is unlocked by ranking up the EBR, and one of the snappier sniper optics is unlocked by ranking up the MK2. Maxing the level of your snipers is one thing, and that is needed, but remember there are other ways to get attachments for your favorite guns. So let's talk about moving around the map with a sniper in hand. First things first, centering is still as important as ever. The idea of before you scope in, you're making sure that you're keeping enemies or potential areas where enemies may appear in the center of your crosshairs, and this helps for multiple reasons. Number one, when you're aiming down your sights, if you weren't aware, you give off a noticeable sniper glint with most of the optics and a very visible laser if you're rocking that laser attachment. Enemies can easily spot you for those two reasons alone, putting you at quite the disadvantage. But what centering also offers is the best vision, as staying out of your scope and lining enemies up through your hip keeps your peripherals clear for more in-game clarity. Mastering centering is all about having the right sensitivity. I use 1313, which is perfect for me to know how much pressure I need to put on my stick to center my crosshairs to the next target. Start off slow and gradually work your way up to find the best sensitivity that works for you. You could also play around with the centering dot, which everyone has on Modern Warfare 2. There's a setting that increases its size, and this is the perfect way to train your brain where the center of the screen is. I wouldn't recommend keeping the larger dot on for actual real games. It might get in the way a little bit, but you can have this on and practice against bots. I will be honest though, you can't center every single shot. It's just not possible, so you need to incorporate every type of shot into your playstyle and use each type when necessary. Line up a long range shot with a hard scope if you know you have the time and are hidden enough to do so. Drag scope around the corner if you're confident in the shot and know you'll die if you peek your whole body out to try and center that target. And even get a no scope off. If you know you won't have enough time to aim down your sights before getting killed, you may as well fire from the hip and hope to get a lucky kill to keep the streak alive. A good sniper uses every shot type to their advantage, but the main idea for me is to reduce how much time you spend aiming down your sights. That is the key. A new aspect with Modern Warfare 2 is the movement, especially jump shotting. When you jump on this game, your aim down sight speed drastically decreases, resulting in a very sluggish feeling. Now, I still catch myself jumping around corners, try to snap on someone as I've done for years and years with COD, but this is a habit you should try and break out of. There's rare moments where it still benefits you, but I have a few other ways for you to challenge corners with a sniper in hand. First, and probably my least favorite, is scoping in first, holding your breath to steady the shot and then jumping out of cover to the left or the right and taking your shot there. You'll hopefully catch them by surprise because you don't have to wait for your aim down sight time, but more often than not, you're peeking your whole body out, and if you're already hurt, it's a GG, especially at close range with a large zoom scope. But scoping in first from behind cover and jump shotting over that cover is still a viable way to challenge someone while keeping yourself somewhat safe. The idle sway on the snipers makes this shot a little tricky, but once you get that timing nailed, you'll feel more comfortable going for that type of shot. However, my favorite type of shot to ego a corner or challenge someone through a doorway who has the upper hand is a good old drop shot. It's a pretty viable bit of movement that will help with general gunfights anyway, but pair that with a corner or a doorway, it takes even the more skilled enemies by surprise. As I play on tactical layout, I click my R3 stick to go prone as I'm moving out of cover, scoping in at the same time and centering where I'd expect the enemy to still be and taking the shot from there. Truly my signature move right now. I absolutely love it. But just be aware, what makes these types of shots hard, the more precise and faster shots, is the recoil and the idle sway. Every sniper recoils after it shoots, but in most previous CODs, the sniper would recenter to the original spot the shot was taken from. However, with Modern Warfare 2, the gun consistently recoils upwards and centers into a different position higher than before, meaning you'll need to unconsciously be pulling your aim back down after each shot to compensate for this. And alongside that, the sniper is constantly swayed at the hip, so every time you scope in, the idle sway means your centered point will be slightly off compared to when you last scoped in. It doesn't affect those close range shots too much, as even a slight deviation in your aim will still result in hitting the large target, but fast shots at long range will maybe feel a little inconsistent. So if there's occasions where you genuinely genuinely thought your quick scope was on target, but the bullet didn't register, well, you can always blame that idle sway. But in general, with a fast time to kill and your laser and scope glint being visible when you're aiming down your scope, holding your position and using your field of view is the best tip I can give. Running and gunning with a sniper rifle, not a marksman rifle, as that's a different mindset altogether. It's quite the challenge to do that against good opponents. With skill-based matchmaking, the better you get, the better your enemies get. So knowing how to play more skilled opponents with a sniper in hand is what will allow you to hold your own and stop you from resorting back to a regular gun. Treat your sniper as a sniper. Use cover to your advantage. Move methodically from vantage points, making sure there are areas of safety along your path. Being out in the open with any weapon is a death trap, but with a sniper it's even worse. So be patient, hold angles, and allow your enemies to make the move if the situation allows it. That's one thing I see that people don't incorporate into their gameplay. If all you want to do though is aggressive sniping, then slap on the SAB or the SBR, max out the ADS speed and push anything and anyone. That is incredibly fun for sure. I love doing that, but if you want to truly learn how to be a force on the map with the slower sniper rifles, calm things down and be aware of everything going on. This includes your teammates' positioning. Where are they? Where are you? Where did you spawn? Where's the objective? And work out where the enemy should be based on those thoughts. Even use the kill feed to your advantage. You see 3 or 4 enemies die, turn towards where you'd expect them to be based on the spawn knowledge you have learned from playing the game more and more. And the minimap sadly does not show red dots on gunfire anymore. But the compass at the top of your screen, I know a lot of people don't look at that, that shows the direction of where enemies are shooting. So don't disregard that free piece of information. But the main thing is look at your minimap. When that UAV is popped early in the game, especially when you know nobody should have Ghost unlocked yet due to that new little perk system, right? You'll have the confidence that every player is visible on the minimap. Even late game when a UAV is popped, you should constantly check your radar, your minimap. You don't realize how much information you gain by that small corner of the screen. And on larger maps, bring up your large minimap to see where the action is going down so you can plan your approach as you move out of spawn. I use that on that bridge map all the time because you spawn so far back and I don't know whether the gunfights are going down at the middle or the other side of the map. So combine all of those thoughts and ideas with your general map knowledge that you've learned through playing, and you'll start to feel more confident when moving around the map. And remember, it's okay to back up from dangerous situations if you're on a good streak. Regain composure, group up with your team, and attack from a different angle. With audio being a massive part of Modern Warfare 2, don't get caught sprinting. For starters, the slow ADS speeds on some of the snipers and the slow sprint to fire speeds mean that if you get caught sprinting with a sniper in hand, you physically can't shoot the gun in time to counter that fast time to kill. So only use sprinting to gain ground around the map and get to that next vantage point. And be aware, you are loud. Footsteps, especially sprinting footsteps, are so clear and vivid and will get you killed more often than you think. But you know what? Use that to your advantage. A lot of my sniper streaks are kept alive by the use of sound. Not the minimap, not the spawn knowledge, but genuine footsteps. Keep an ear out and prepare yourself for the enemy to appear around the corner. So to end this section right here, I wanted to combine all those things I've just said and break down this streak in front of you so you can get into my mind a little bit and what I'm thinking while I'm going for this. So of course I've been flashed and nade coming in. I'm looking towards their spawn to get a lucky no scope, but I did see that guy right there. So as you can tell, check to the right. So my teammate was safe. There's no enemy spawning there. Saw the guy at the back, of course. Look to the left, and there's my teammate dead. So I see the skull. I see 2 dots on the radar. So I'm expecting 2 as we walk towards it here. So aiming down my sights, you could tell there. Stayed in my scope a little too long. Put my laser visible. I was thinking they're going to see that. They're going to look to the left here and take me down. So luckily, I unscoped. Got a little bit of bad timing. Still managed to get the kill on the jump shot there. Expected one more guy. Got him. Done. But boom. A third one appears, got the lucky no-scope, but I heard that guy. Like I said, use sound as well as the radar, and now I'm regenning. I see 2 to my right. I back up. There's no harm in backing up there. Using this room at the back to protect myself. And as you can tell, as I'm moving around the map, I'm looking at different areas of my route. I'm checking to the right there. I'm using what I've got around me. I'm using the walls. I'm using cover. I'm using advantages that I can get because I'm trying to limit the amount of times I'm taking a gunfight out in the open. So we'll continue playing here. I'm rushing forward. See this guy, take him down. And yeah, radar sweep there. Luckily got the guy coming off spawn there. So I was expecting another one close by, but he's made it through. And I can see on the radar, my team are all around me now. So I can deady up and I can push this. I know everybody's going to be in front of me because my team have got my back. And I now know that nobody can hear my footsteps, so I'm going for it. I'm pushing, so that my teammate had saved that. I look to the radar, there's loads of red dots. I'm out of there. I'm gone. I'm off the scene. I stim, and I see there's 4 red dots to my right, so I'm busted out the window. And of course, dead silence is still popped and can get aggressive, and I'm catching them on the flank because they can't necessarily hear me. And I do predict that guy to come back there because I think he would have heard my gunshot. So as you can tell, for that streak alone, I use the radar, I use footsteps, I use where my teammates were, and I still continue to use those vantage points throughout the map. I'm not wide side peeking, putting myself in danger. I'm sticking close to walls, but I'm still being aggressive and I'm making the most of the map and how it's laid out. Now, a lot of these tips are for 6v6 multiplayer, you know, small maps with not many long range engagements, but for those few larger maps, or even if you play ground war, be aware of bullet drop and travel time of your sniper shot. Further your shot, the more your bullet will drop over time and the longer it takes that bullet to arrive at your target. And with how I recommend building a sniper rifle in your creator class with a faster aim down sight speed, this usually comes with the penalty of bullet velocity, meaning even on small maps at the longer lanes you're fighting, you'll have to compensate for the bullet drop and the travel time. Aim a little higher than you normally would if you're going to be fighting at range, maybe even above your target in some situations if they're far enough away, just so you don't hit mark them in the leg or something. And be aware of their movement at this time. If they're a still target, leading your shot is not necessary, but if they're moving, you'll need to lead your aim ahead of the target to 1. Compensate for their movement, 2. Compensate for the time it takes to actually aim down your sights, and 3. The time it'll take your bullet to reach the spot you're aiming at. Once again, do as much of that calculation out of your scope as possible to ensure you're as hidden as can be. If you struggle with this concept though and play larger game modes or maps more often, you can always tweak your class setup to increase your bullet velocity to limit that extra calculation needed when firing at range. Probably recommended when you're doing long shot challenges for cameras. You don't really need to be too flashy then. I think we could all agree though that the flinch when getting shot is pretty damn wild when you're holding a sniper. It's hard to stay on target with all the camera movement and screen shake anyway, but to line up your target while you're getting shot is pretty damn challenging. I'd always recommend keeping your centered point around chest level to increase the potential of a one-shot kill anyway if there's no flinch received, but if you do get shot, you'd hope a little luck plays on your part and you're getting flinched into that headshot. For me though, if I know I'm going to get shot, I tend to pull my aim down to counter that flinch. Obviously, if I don't get flinched, I'm shooting them in the knees, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to vision the amount of flinch I'm going to get when I shoot to hopefully kick my aim up to an area of one-shot kill potential. There aren't that many attachments actually that help with flinch resistance, but you could equip them if they are to your liking. But once again, personally, I would much rather use other attachments that help the sniper perform quicker in hopes of getting my shot off faster and avoiding that flinch altogether. There is a focus perk you can equip in your perk package, which helps with flinch resistance and holding your breath time. And through tested, it does help reduce that flinch by a good chunk, cutting that flinch height pretty much in half. But with how this game plays, I'd still recommend fast hands, which becomes so much more useful in all sorts of gameplay. But once again, if you are feel you're flinching above your target way too often, try out those attachments, try out the focus perk, and those might be perfect for you. Speaking of gameplay, there are certain settings in game that will help your Modern Warfare 2 experience drastically in a positive way. Firstly, field of view. I play on 105, which gives me a wider view to see enemies or danger that I wouldn't normally see, especially if this setting was left on default. But some people play on 120, but for me that's way too wide and zoomed out, and I struggle to continue to be accurate at that range. So find your perfect number and run with it. ADS field of view is set to affected, which gives consistency in the zoom value, so you don't zoom in too much when you're aiming down your sights and lose sight of things in your peripheral vision. Remember to set your weapon field of view to wide and have that gun appear small on screen. Just gives you more clarity with what's going on in game, so you don't have a bulky weapon sitting in the corner. And also remember to change your minimap to square. It gives you so much more coverage than the circle one does. And lastly, tune down the amount of camera movement you have, turn off all the motion blurs, turn off the depth of field and the film grain for extra clarity in game. You don't realize how much of a difference those settings make. So for my controller settings, as mentioned, I play on 1313. I'm on tactical flipped, but I do use a scuff controller, so I've got paddles on the back of the controller which I can click with my unused fingers, and that's just to help me jump, reload, and swap weapons, for example, so I can keep my thumb on the analog stick at all times and not lose accuracy by taking that off to press a button and returning my thumb back to the stick. Some people play bumper jumper and stuff like that, but for all my controller players out there, I'd highly recommend a scuff controller which has different models available for pretty much any platform you may play on. I use a Scuff Reflex Pro for PS5 and PC, mouse click style triggers, interchangeable thumbsticks with different heights, and of course those trusty paddles on the back to make the most of your unused fingers sitting dormant back there doing nothing. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to learn more about the other features these controllers have to offer and maybe pick yourself one up. For my aim assist type, I just have it set to default. That works for me. I've never felt the need to change it, but I know a fair few people who feel Black Ops is the better choice for their personal gameplay, so give that a shot if you feel like it could help you perform better. I have my aim response curve type set to dynamic, as I feel I can be a bit more precise with the little stick movements that I take when I'm sniping on the regular. I also have custom sensitivity per zoom enabled. Because my sensitivity is kind of high, I go on 0.9 for the lower zoom optics, so when I use regular guns or pistols, stuff like that, I can be a little bit more precise when I'm aiming down my sights due to the slightly slower sensitivity. My dead zone is set to 0.05 on the low end and 0.99 on the high end. That's for bow sticks as well. I've got auto tack sprint off, which might be a bit of a shocker to you. I know a lot of people prefer it. I played it on previous games, but because of that strong footstep audio on this game, I like to slow walk quite a lot, and I don't want to jeopardize that by not being able to have that element within my gameplay and having to tack sprint everywhere I go. Maybe with Warzone 2 I'll change it, but we'll see. And I'll scroll and cycle through the rest of my settings as well, but I'm sure the majority should be on default or just a weird preference I may have. So let's move over to creating our classes. I can't tell you how important it is to have the right attachments, but then to tune those attachments to help your gun perform even better. And as mentioned, the majority of these builds right here are focusing on increased aim down sight speed. The faster your gun scopes in, the more chance you're going to have of winning your gunfight. So for the MCPR, we'll start off there. 5-round mag, we've got the Cronin Smooth Bolt, we've got the Cronin Cheetah Grip with the ADS speed maxed out in tuning, as well as some of the sprint to fire speed there. FSS Laser, of course, the best laser you can get on the snipers, and then the 17.5-inch Orca barrel. Recoil steadiness almost maxed out, and the ADS speed, of course, maxed out. Moving over to the Signal 50, there's a couple of ways you can go about this gun. The main thing though, you've got the SA Finesse Grip on there, ADS speed maxed out in tuning, sprint to fire speed maxed out. We got the SO inline stock as well, ADS speed maxed out, and almost maxing out the aiming idle stability. I go with the Luca Bandera scope, ADS speed maxed out as well, and I've put my eye position to far, which just makes your scope less bulky on your screen. It's further away, so you've got more of your peripheral vision to be used. The Teplo OP3 scope, that for me is one of the best scopes you can get on the Signal 50. It's actually faster in terms of ADS speed than the Luca Bandera, so you know, play with what you would like there. FSS Laser though, of course, and then the new fluted 50 barrel, which I've put ADS speed maxed out, of course, and recoil steadiness maxed out, so I can recenter those shots a little bit quicker with the semi-auto. But if you like the regular scope on the Signal 50, take off that optic and put on the FSS Shark Fin 90 underbarrel. This increases aim and idle stability, which is great, but actually you can tune the ADS speed secretly and actually up it by I think 20 milliseconds. So yeah, that's a regular scope setup I would recommend, but let's move on. For the SPX80, we got the FSS Bolt there, Schläger Match Grip, ADS speed maxed out, sprint to fire speed almost maxed out, kind of, PVZ, 890 tack stock, ADS speed maxed out, and aiming idle stability maxed out. We got the FSS Laser, of course, and then the 18.5-inch Bryson LR factory barrel. The best barrel, there's quite a few barrels on this gun that increase ADS speed. If I can show you, yeah, there's 3 of them, but I've done some testing. This is indeed the quickest one. Maxed out the ADS speed and tuned it, of course, add a little bit of that recoil steadiness just to make this gun a little bit easier to use at range. For the LAB, a sniper not many people use, to be fair, we got the FSS Bolt, aim assist comb, ADS speed, of course, maxed out, recoil stabilization almost maxed out. We got the ZLR pad extension stock, ADS speed maxed out, and almost maxing out the aiming idle stability, anything to make this gun a little bit steadier. We got the FSS Laser, of course, and then the 18.5-inch barrel once again, ADS speed maxed out, and recoil steadiness. You don't understand how much having a little smoother recoil pattern or just less recoil when you're cocking your sniper back, you don't realize how much that actually helps to be consistent. And then lastly, the new sniper rifle, the Victus XMR, we got the Bruin Q900 grip here, ADS speed maxed out and sprint to fire maxed out, because this gun's a bit of a slug in terms of that kind of stuff. ADS speed maxed out though on the XRK Rise 50 stock, and aiming idle stability maxed out as well. I went with the SPX80 optic just because the default scope on this gun is like bloody 14 times zoom. It's so far out. ADS speed is maxed out once again though, although the flinch on this sniper is pretty bad, so maybe this is one of the guns you get flinch reduction attachments on, or maybe use focus, I don't know. But for the laser, we have the VLK-LZR, and then for the barrel, we got the MAC 8 21.5. We got the ADS speed maxed out once again, and a little bit of that recoil steadiness tuned. And then moving over to the marksman rifles, we'll start off with the SAB-50. I mean, this thing is so damn quick. I think its ADS speed is like 330 milliseconds or something ridiculous like that. So we got the FSS Bolt, we got the Schläger Match Grip, ADS speed maxed out, and it doesn't really need much sprint to fire, so if you really want to go for it, tune that aiming idle stability all the way. But the XRK Spectre mod, this is better than the Assault 60 stock, which you can tune, so people thought if you tune this stock, it's better than the mod. It's not. The XRK is still the better stock to have. Once again, SPX80, tune the range of this, so I made it further away because I want it to look smaller on screen, because you're going to use this more up close than you normally would. And then we've got the FSS Laser to end things off. Move over to the SPR, we'll end it here. FSS Bolt once again, aim assist comb, ADS speed maxed out, and a little bit of recoil stabilization. The ZRL pad, ADS speed maxed out, and a little bit of aiming idle stability. SPX80 once again. You could change this up depending. Obviously, you could take it off if you want and use the iron sights, which is still absolutely broken. You could maybe go, I don't know, high velocity ammo or maybe a barrel or something, but end it off though with the FSS Laser. But there we have it. Those are the best. You can pick and choose in terms of optics and stuff like that. But if you want ADS speed, fast, snappy snipers, that is what I'd go for. For your base perks though, if you want to run double snipers or have a support weapon to your sniper, there's no real con to using overkill. There's plenty of solid choices for your second perk or both perks if you're not running overkill, but for me, I just run battle hardened and bomb squad. But double time might be a shout if you're running and gunning, but just be aware for controller players out there, if you do run overkill with a sniper rifle and a marksman rifle, the marksman rifles have stronger, way stronger aim assist to be fair than the sniper rifles. This can result in a bit of inconsistency with your gameplay as you're constantly trying to adapt to the new amount of aim assist every time you swap weapon. For your bonus perk, I'd always recommend going fast stands all the way. It helps speed up every animation possible, reloading, using equipment, swapping weapons, which all benefit your gameplay with a sniper. But as mentioned, if you like focus, you think it helps your gameplay, that is always a solid choice too. And for the ultimate perk, personally, I still run Ghost, even though it's not as powerful as it has been in previous games. I think it helps my gameplay quite a lot. But two other solid options are High Alert and Quick Fix. Both help a streak continue with clutch attributes, but remember, you're always going to be on that radar when the UAV is popped. For the field upgrade, I run Dead Silence and Munitions Box, giving me the choice of either depending on the situation I'm in. To me, it's less common that I need that Munitions Box, but it's helpful to have when the timing is right. Equipment is really all preference. I like to run Stim so I can regenerate health quicker and re-challenge certain gunfights that I know I can win. For the lethal though, Drill Charge is a superior in my eyes. It literally goes through walls, perfect to clear out someone who's camping upstairs or behind cover. Even if it doesn't kill them, it motivates them to move away to stay alive, and that's where you can catch them out. I am all out support. I don't like the idea of getting into my lethal streak to get kills. I want to do it all with my weapons, so I've got UAV, counter UAV, and advanced UAV. They are all incredibly good. Well, counter UAV isn't that good. It can get shot down in an instant, so feel free to run something else instead if you like the idea of having a little lethal streak in there. But for me, I just think UAV and advanced UAV are so helpful in this game, especially getting a UAV early on. Definitely capitalize on the idea that nobody has Ghost yet and really rack up the kills against the opposite team. So I think that will just about do it. Hopefully I've covered as much as possible in this video to help you improve with a sniper rifle on Modern Warfare 2. If you think I've missed anything or have any further questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Or what if you find viewers may be able to assist with an answer. Thank you so much for watching though. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all back live in the action very, very soon.